What's up, guys? I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Welcome to another edition of the best women's boxing show, period. I can't stop laughing because I'm looking at the clip that I just dropped of Ebony Bridges and her kitty and her pussy. So I'm sorry. I want to laugh so loud.
Ebony Bridges, salute to her.
I want to snort. But anyways, usually we do a run it back special, but you know what? We're going to get right to it because we have this lovely lady, this champion. She's one of my favorite boxers. She's chiming in from London or UK right now, from Liverpool, I believe. Miss NATASHA, Miss GB Jonas. Okay, welcome to the show. Welcome to the best women's boxing show, period. Thank you for joining us. I know it's a little late. I know you're training for a fight because this is a good fight that was just announced against Dicaire. Let's just even talk about this. So the last time I even said that the last time I interviewed you, it was during pandemic. You wanted to fight Katie Taylor. And then somehow you ended up getting the rematch. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, this was 2020? You became a world champion twice in your division. I think it was 140, I believe, and then now 154. NATASHA, I'm so proud of you. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm really proud of you because you kept saying, you even said that this was going to be a really tough challenge for you to get back into world contention mode, especially losing to Katie Taylor. She's one of the best in boxing. She's pound for pound great. And now you're creating your legacy as a mother. You're a fighting mom. 154, you're fighting for, not undisputed, not just yet, but you're fighting Marie Dicaire.
Definitely.
What made you even go to 154, first of all?
It's a big leap.
Yeah, it is.
It was. I think it's just the opportunity. But when I changed over promotional companies from Matchroom to BOXXER, one of the things that was instrumental, and like I said, I wanted to be a world champion, and Ben was saying, "We'll do that for you." We didn't know how we were going to do it or like what was going to happen, but that was one of the things he said. We'll definitely make you a world champion. So when we looked at where to go, Katie had the 2 fights with Serrano at the time.
Yeah.
Chantel was in a tournament, so that tied up all the 140s. McCaskill, we didn't really know what she was doing, but she was, there was talks of her fighting somebody, so McCaskill. So then I would never meet the super featherweight again. I knew that it was just too hard. So then the only option was to go up further, which was 154. And when Ben said he could secure that fight, that was where it was going. He said, like, it's obviously a lot of weight to go up, but can you do it? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. Like I'll do it. Go ahead. Let's do it. And then we done it. And then he was like, well, when we looked around again for another fight, it was still the same situation. Katie was tied up, Chantel was tied up, McCaskill was tied up. So it was like, well, do you want to go for another belt at this weight? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, just to clarify, are you no longer with Matchroom and you're now with BOXXER?
I'm now with BOXXER, yeah, BOXXER and Sky.
BOXXER's making some moves in the women's division.
Yes, they are. The big women's card that's coming up, they're heavily involved in. What has been the biggest difference with working with them for you? Is it just the ability to make more fights, or how's the experience been since you've switched over to BOXXER?
I have literally no complaints on what a difference a year makes. I think I always, I've made no secret of saying that I felt a little bit undervalued at Matchroom, and I felt a little bit like I was always in the away corner. I was never the home fighter. I was always there to be beat. I was Terry's opponent because there was nobody else in the country to fight, and I genuinely believe that they thought I was a good name to have on their record. And obviously the way that fight turned out got me the Katie opportunity again. I was just put in the other corner to be beat. And now with BOXXER, I feel like I'm supported, I feel like I'm valued, and I feel like I'm the home fighter, and everyone's putting stuff in position for me to be as great an athlete as I can. And that's all you ever want.
It almost sounds like that they treated you like a journeywoman, just like you were just the fighter. If you can get past her, cool. If not, then whatever. But I'm glad that you found a new home because BOXXER has been making moves. It's great that there is there are people in the UK making this happen because we want the women to fight the best. And sadly enough, that women have to jump up in different weight classes. We're seeing McCaskill jumping or going down in weight to fight Chantel Cameron for undisputed belts. And then you're going up in 154. It's very interesting because we just interviewed Cecilia Brækhus. She's moving up into your division. She was supposed to fight Dicaire. Something happened. Her fight got postponed. Now I know why. Now we know why, because you're fighting her for belts. And then the other person that has the IBF belt, I believe, because you're the WBC and the WBO, the IBF champ is Terry. Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's right. She just beat her. That was a sensational win. Now, you fought Terry Harper before in, I call it backyard boxing at Matchroom. Yeah. I think you did really well. And Terry Harper is just a beast. And now she's really filled out into her weight class because she got knocked out by Alicia Baumgartner. Literally a stand-up knockout. I would love to see a rematch with you. I would love to see another rematch with Katie Taylor because of your weight. It's just very different. What do you see Cecilia coming in? Because she was undisputed for a very, very, very long time. She was the queen of undisputed for women for so long.
Yeah, I think when you talk about legacy fights and you talk about, legacy females that have made an impact on the sport, she's definitely up there, and she's definitely someone who I've got in my visions. That's a super fight for us. She's obviously a huge name. She's a huge draw. I respect everything that she's done, and she's been a great champion. Apart from the 2 defeats to McCaskill, no one's ever beat her. So she's definitely someone who's on my radar, and that's a fight I would be interested in. But yeah, it gives me options. Belts give you options. People are a bit more willing to take the risk when you've got a belt than they was before. Because before I was a lot of risk for no reward, and I struggled to get fights, and now people are willing to take that because you've got a world title. So, options is what I wanted, options is what I needed, and now I've got them, so I'm not complaining.
Originally, the moving up was to create options for yourself, but in your outings against Chris and against Patricia, these were very, very dominant victories in a whole new weight class. Does that make you question that maybe I should have moved up a little bit sooner, because this is clearly a comfortable weight class for you? Is this your new home, or do you have aspirations of going back to your original weight class after the Dicaire fight or any other fights that you are considering?
I definitely want to go back down. When that is, just depends on the opportunities that are there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at the 147s, the 140s, the 135s. I'm looking at all them weight divisions, but like I say, if there's fights to be made at other weights, or at staying at this weight and getting more titles, then I'll do that as well.
As someone who kind of lives and breathes within the sport, we're observers for the most part on the outside looking in. You see it in the gyms. Are there women willing to come into these higher weight classes? Because most of the most competitive divisions are the lower weight classes for women. Are you seeing anything out there that suggests that maybe there are some new opportunities coming to these 140, 147, 154, 160 pound weight divisions, or do you feel like you're going to be forced to stay within a higher weight class than you would like?
No, I think a couple of things will sort themselves out. Like, I think McCaskill and Cameron, I think they're for Cameron's 140 belt. So McCaskill will still have hers at 147. So you'll know the outcome of that, and whether that's a 1 fight or a 2 fight or a rematch or whatever, then that's kind of done by the summer. And I probably wouldn't be looking after this fight to fight until next year, till next probably Easter, around that time. So yeah, I think the conclusions of some fights are already happened. And then you've got, like you say, you've got the Blackhouses of the world, who I think that's a brilliant fight, and there's others. So yeah, if I want to go back down, I think there is opportunities now. So
it's very smart that you did move up in weight, because obviously now you've captured 2 belts, and you are on to going to capture possibly another belt, and the Ring Magazine belt is on the line. Ooh, that's a good one. That's the coveted belt out of all of them. Jessica McCaskill is undisputed at 147, so you can even vie for those. I personally can't see you moving up to 160. I mean, that's heavier, but even
wild.
That's wild.
I thought that was 154.
Was it hard for you to get to 154? I mean, you got to eat a little bit more.
I think in them camps, I've realised how much sometimes the weight cut takes out of you.
Yeah.
I've never weighed in even close to 154. I think the heaviest I've weighed is 148, 149, I think. So I am like the lower end of the 154 scale, but it's not just a case of eating more and training less. There's a lot of science that goes into it to build yourself up and be able to contend and tussle and be strong against these women who potentially are going to get in the ring at 165 plus.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, since you weigh at 154 on the dot, do you stay at that weight after weigh-ins, or do you get, because a lot of people end up gaining weight because it's their natural weight to go at least 10 pounds. That's not your natural weight. Do you end up losing more weight by weigh-ins?
I think I weighed in at 148 for the last fight, and I think I was 150 or 149 by the time I got in the ring, so I don't really put on anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about that? I don't think I've ever seen any fighter discuss just the mental aspect of going to a weight class outside your natural weight class and the aftermath of that. So you're naturally a smaller fighter, you're moving up in weight. How do you manage just your own fitness and health? Because it's not natural for you to walk around at 154. You're moving up for that opportunity. How does that affect you, just your physicality, your own mental well-being, because you're so accustomed to being smaller?
Yeah, like I say, a lot of science goes into it. So I probably train for the last 4 or 5 weeks at the weight I'm going to be in the gym, and then I try and just maintain and sustain that weight. So it's not, normally you're training to like lose weight, which it is a bit different in fight week. You're always, I always like stressing, even though I know I'm going to make weight, until you stand on them official scales, there's like, you still have that panic that you might not. So on a normal fight week, you're like, you're still watching your weight and watching what your intake of, but because I've been so light, and because I know I'm not going to gain anything anyway, because I'm so hydrated and, fueled, that all fight week, I'm worried about the fight, and all I do is concentrate on the fight and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to start the first round and the combinations I'm going to throw. And that is probably more mentally draining, worrying about the fight than worrying about the weight, because you only have really the Friday to the Saturday to like, okay, it's fight mode now. It's worried about the fight, but I'm doing that all week.
What happens after that, though? Do you feel is it hard to shift your mind back into, I naturally want to be smaller, but these cookies look really good and I need to make 154. So how do you even manage that? Because so much of conditioning is women have to lose weight, women need to be smaller, especially as a boxer. So when it's all said and done and you've campaigned at a higher weight, how do you put yourself back to where you normally weigh? Do you think maybe I need to maintain this weight on me and grow into it just in case another opportunity and I have to fight at this higher weight? How do you mitigate those types of weight? That weight is very challenging, particularly for women. Yeah,
no, I don't really see myself as, like a kind of fashion follower in that sense. I'm an athlete, and my body has to do what it's designed for and its purpose, which is to box. So I do naturally walk around a little bit heavier now, but not, I wouldn't say extremely over what I was anyway. I'm a lot heavier than I was at Super Feather, but I have grew into the weight, and I stay at this weight because until I know that I'm going to move down, there doesn't seem to be any point to diet and get down for a fight when you might have to put it back on, so you're losing size and muscle mass for nothing. So until I get the call to say I need to move down, that's when I'll start concentrating on the diet to bring a deficit in.
I want to ask you. I'm going to be very frank. Do you lose your ass when you're going down? Have you gained some ass?
I'd like to think so. I definitely. I was looking at pictures for the weigh-in before the Terry Harper fight about a couple of months ago, and I was like, I can't even believe that I made that weight. Like, I've got like pictures of me from the side, and I'm like, I just look like a head on a matchstick's body. Kids draw them little matchstick men. It's just a big head with this little tiny frame. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like the way I look there. I like being curvy. I like being womanly. It's for me. It's fine. I don't obviously. I like to also look nice. So yeah.
So you walking past them. So now you walking past the mirror at 154, going, "Damn, I look thick."
Yeah. Well, my biggest tell is my thighs. So I always like when I'm on the jogger or I look down at my thighs and think, yeah, I know what weight I am now.
Looking thick.
If they start rubbing a certain way, I'm like, oh, they look good. If not, gotta be running a little bit more then. And also, besides you're a boxer, you are. I love you on the mic. I love you on the mic as a pundit, a boxing correspondent, because I love it when any promotion company or any TV puts an actual boxer that knows what they're talking about and say what's going on in the ring. Do you think that's going to be your end-all be-all career after boxing is said and done?
I'd like to think so, because all the big fights that you're not involved like in on the fight day, that you'll be sitting in the front row with the best seats in the house talking about other people and how good and bad the performances are. So yeah, and like you say, you're only talking about what you know. So it's a great job. I have got a 3-year deal with Sky to do that as well.
Oh, congrats!
So yeah, I'll be looking to try and extend that at some point.
Good for you.
But yeah, it's a great platform, and obviously we've got a lot of fights, and we've got some of the top ranked shows on there as well. So it's great to be able to do the domestic as well as international fights.
Natural? Do you feel natural when you're on the mic? Where it's new, it's something new, and there's a lot of production and things that go on behind the scene when you work for a TV network. But were you nervous? What's the biggest difference between NATASHA, the fighter, and NATASHA, the person who calls the fights or commentates on the fights?
I think there's different roles within the commentary settings that are different. So sometimes I was doing the reaction stuff, which is like you're talking about the fight before and then you talk about it after and what you've just seen. And then I've done the actual commentary where you sit there and talking about the fights as it's happened. And I think the biggest thing for that was like you're trying to say what you see and explain it to the general public watching, and give them a bit of insight, but not too much information. But then also be respectful to the boxers and be honest. Like I can't. I don't like it when you're watching a whatever, and then you'll it's just biased, and for a fact that the person losing and someone saying they're winning, you think, oh, they've got that score. So I try and be as honest as I can, but as respectful, and that's hard. And like to try and keep everybody happy is hard. So. But for the way I'd like to think that how I come across on screen is just be like I try and have fun with it. I be myself, and like I say, I just say what I see and try and be honest. And I think fans appreciate that, and I get good feedback as well. So I think they appreciate that I'm honest.
I know you like to be honest, and since you are on the Best Women's Boxing Show, period, we're gonna ask you about some fights and some of the female fights that you have seen or that will be happening. It's all right. No one will know.
We won't tell.
We won't tell
except
anyone.
all the people who watch the show.
We're going to tell everyone.
All right, so we had the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. That was an incredible fight. You've fought Katie Taylor. Who did you honestly think won that fight?
I'll be dead honest. After round 6, I just didn't count. I didn't score it anymore because I'd lost it by round 6 when I thought like she was going to stop her.
Yeah,
I'd like it kind of like. It took over, and then I just couldn't count it after that. So I was just like enthralled, and then the last, I think round 9 or round 10 was just madness. I don't know. I can't 100% say either way.
Do you think secretly sometimes, since you've lost to her twice, do you think, oh my God, I just hope Amanda Serrano stops her, like knocks her out? Just, I mean, not to be mean, it's in competition.
I said before the fight to people that was asking me for my opinion then that I think she's a big problem for Katie. I think, a come forward, aggressive southpaw who's tough and can, as good body puncher, will be a problem. And that's exactly what she was. She was a big problem. And I did think she would nick it. And I kind of knew she wouldn't win on points. And I feel bad saying that, but sometimes that's just the way it is. And I kind of knew she would never win on points. But I did think, if anything, that she could really hurt her. And I was nearly proved right. She nearly proved me right.
And then let's just say, because I know Ebony Bridges, we just dropped her interview. That's why we're laughing so hard, because
she's a character.
You have to watch her interview on her.
I can only imagine.
You're going to laugh so hard, you'll cry. So she's fighting Shannon O'Connell, another Australian. It's her mandatory. But eventually she's going to want the fight that has to be made is Shannon Courtney somehow wins the belt. If that fight ever happens to come about for a rematch for those two, who wins?
I think Bridges was winning the first time, if I'm honest. It was only the last 2 rounds when, Shannon kind of made her eye.
Yeah.
And she capitalised on it, which she would do. But I think, comfortably Bridges was winning before that.
Okay, and then McCaskill. With you're going to eventually have to step in the ring because you're going to want to vie. Maybe go another division, 2 division, 3 division, who knows? Because she holds all the belts. And we've heard what a lot of fighters think of just Jessica McCaskill. She's very unconventional. She does a lot of wild punches, but it works for her. She's fighting Chantel Cameron for the undisputed, to be a 2 division undisputed. Who wins that fight?
I think a lot of it depends on which Chantel turns up, if I'm honest. Chantel is a bit like without being disrespectful, the Joe Joyce of women's boxing. Her round 1 is the same as her round 10. And it's very hard to compete with that fitness-wise for anybody, no matter how fit you think you are, because she's got her biggest asset is that she's got a good engine. So McCaskill has to be prepared for that. Saying that, I don't think the McCaskill that fought Katie Taylor is the same McCaskill that she is now. I think she's improved. I think she's got better. And being a champion gives you a different type of confidence. Chantel wins, but it depends which Chantel turns up.
McCaskill's going down.
McCaskill's going down.
She's going down for that fight. Going up and going down. Going down, you went up for your fights. She's going down. Does that make her more effective? Is it more draining? From the outside looking in, what do you think going down in weight does for McCaskill's skills? It's
not a weight that she's not been at. So she's, I think she did grow into the 147, but body types of women is a little bit different to the body types of men in the sense of, if you look at, Maya, Harper, me, Katie, Serrano, we're all very similar. So to put on and lose weight isn't like, it's not like the, Beefy Smith, Liam Smith fighting Callum Smith.
Right.
Because it's different. We're not like, genetically we're different. So it's not a big difference, I don't think, for women to go up and down. It is as it is with the men's, because physicality with the men's changes, but with the physicality with the women doesn't really.
We're hoping we're going to get Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Now we can ask you, because it's going to be happening. Do you think with the moment, rest in paradise, Queen Elizabeth, do you think the outcome has changed of the time that, it's a mind fuck?
I hope not. Because I predicted before that Sav would win. I still think that. But then there is a thing now of how do you go about camp? Because 5 weeks is a bit of a weird one. Do you go back and do you continue the camp that you've had, which is making, a 2 or 3 month camp, now a 3 or 4 month camp, which is a long time for a camp. Or do you have a week off and then go back into the hard stages of camp? Because the last 4 weeks is like the hard bits. So then how do you combat that? How that bit has been done will determine the fight. But I still think it's the same outcome, if I'm honest.
What's the outcome that you predicted?
I think Sav wins by knockout. But I do think Clarissa will be winning. And if it goes to points, Clarissa will win on points, if I'm honest.
But what would you do? If that happened to you, your fight was delayed for a month, do you go immediately back to the most difficult part of camp and work from there? Or what type of training arc would you put yourself through or you and your team, if you had a month-long delay like that?
At 154, I probably would just have the week off and go and, go back into the hard week of camp. But then if I was, Michaela Meyer, who, she's a big 130, like, and I'm not saying that she struggles with the weight or anything, but like, for her to have a week off is a lot of weight gained. So then it's all like taking the weight off and going through that struggle again. So it depends who you are and how easy or hard the weight is for you and what you do. I did speak to my S&C coach about what he would do if that was me. And he said I'd give you the week off and go back into the hard bit of camp. So that's for me at 154. Me at 130 is different.
It's really hard because they postponed the fight literally after the weigh-ins or during the weigh-ins or the day of the weigh-ins, and then
they delayed the weigh-in, I think, and then the weigh-in was at 12, then it was at 1,
that's
and
right.
It was called off at 2.
Yeah.
So like that in itself mentally is like you've gone through a camp, you're ready, you're mentally, physically, emotionally, and then to just get it all called off is like that was hard. That's hard because you've been through camp, you've done camp, you put yourself in horrible places to be in camp, mentally and physically, and to know that it's all for no avail and you've got to do it all again. It's heartbreaking.
Well, we always thought maybe Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgardner would steal the show, be the fight of the night.
I agree.
And I still agree because now they're not really talking their shit on Twitter. They're really just focused in. They're zoned in. They've already talked all their shit before. Who wins that fight and how does it end?
So I was 100% convinced. Again, like with the Chantal thing, it's about which Michaela Mayer turns up. But then when we was doing some of the fight build-up as part of the Sky team, there is like an air of confidence that it's hard to ignore with Baumgardner. And, the only time we've been exposed to it is with the Harper fight here in Britain. So, like, she's got that same air, like that same confidence and that same, okay, we'll see. Mm-hmm. And when a boxer's got that, it's hard to ignore. She's got a presence when she's in the room. So where I was 100%, oh yeah, it's Maya all day. Now I'm like, maybe she's got something that we just don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's got she's going to show something. But I do still think, the levels Maya's been at and the people she's fought, that Maya wins. But I'm not as sure as I was before. And now with the break as well, like I said, if you are that person that struggles with weight or, it's not an easy way to do, then that makes a difference. An extra 5 weeks and a week off and 4 weeks training makes a difference. So
that's interesting. That's interesting that you're going back because we've had her in studio and we've had her on Zoom and she does carry this presence. It's a very, she commands.
Super confident.
Yeah, she's very, very
she's
confident.
Self-assured. Very self-assured.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, I wish more fighters were like that. Mm-hmm. She oozes that out. But I did see when she did have her face-to-face with Michaela, the one thing that she was not supposed to do was curse, and she did.
Yeah.
So Sky is not allowing that anymore.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't going to have them back on? I mean, can't you guys just delay it?
Or put a little beep, beep,
beep, beep, beep, beep.
Oh, they'll definitely have them back on. There's no way that they couldn't.
I know, you have to.
Yeah, they will. They'll obviously give them the same instructions. But, I don't think fight fans, if you're a true fight fan, that you're really bothered about that. But obviously the network as a company is. But fight if you're a fight fan, you understand that heat of the moment and, the pressure and build up and, just a release of your opponent being in your face, that people are, tensions are running high and they might say things that they probably wouldn't normally. But, as a network, I understand why they say, you can't have that. But yeah, I think fight fans understand. Okay,
so BOXXER, BOXXER, the promotion company just came out of nowhere. Like everyone's like, who is this kid? Where did his money come from? Honestly, I don't care. He's putting on some really great fights. Ben Shalom, what is he doing different that Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Oscar De La Hoya, all the promoters in the world, what is he doing different right now to bring all these women's fights to the forefront?
I don't think he's like trying to be different, but I think that he's just trying to make it work. Like he's trying, you know, he doesn't want to have them barriers up in the way that like people do, you know, of different, you know, platforms and different promoters, and you know, he's trying to just work with everyone, which is a bit of fresh air, because some of the best and biggest fights don't get made just because of people or with different platforms, and it's disappointing for the fans that want to see that fight. So we've seen it now in the UK with AJ and Fury at the minute, like the back and forths on social media, and just the back and yourselves with Crawford and Spence, that, you know, it may never happen just because of all the complications with, you know, but, and that's a different thing with the women, is that them fights are easier to make. Like everyone wants to fight. Everyone once one person became undisputed, everyone was like, yeah, that's me. I want to be undisputed. One title now just isn't enough.
Yeah. I mean, women, every man that has been on the show, even trainers, they say women fight harder than the men because they want to fight and they have something to prove. Men just, you know,
it in.
Yeah, the men get the fight. They're like, oh, no. But women are craving to fight each other to have a place at the table.
That's right.
I think as a woman as well, like just from your own experience, you feel like you always need to achieve that little bit more to even be put on par with a man. In the sense of, like, you know, I had to win 2 world titles for people to even consider me world level.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It's very true. If you're not jumping up in class in different weight classes, then you're not really evolving, because you can't. Obviously, we've seen it with you, with Terry Harper, with Clarissa Shields. To be great, you have to really challenge yourself and start moving up to different weight classes or even down, and that's hard.
You have to dare.
Okay, but also, you know, your main job is you are a mother.
Yeah.
Hila, she's so cute, and I did see some of the build-up. Joe Gallagher sent me some of the stuff, and Jeandra can attest to this, that when you have a baby, you think the world is over. You think your career is over. You're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? And it all just works out. And you even quit the amateurs because you had the baby, and now look at you. It's now you've always had her in your training camps because she is part of your world. She is part of your job. How is that now? You've really embraced being a mom, and your job just happens to be that you're a boxer.
I remember there was a big fuss when I turned pro, and everyone was like, "Oh, she's a mum now, and she's going to box." And I was like, "Well, my job is." Like, job aside, I'm just a working mum, and everyone goes back to work. So why, just because I'm a boxer, is that any different? And like, I think there's just still stereotypes and stigmas around, you know, what they expected of women to do and stuff, and where you're expected to be. But it took me a long time to even accept it myself. But I don't think just because you have a baby that your own dreams have to stop. You can still chase your dreams and be a mum. There's you know, nowhere that says you can't. And just because, yeah, I want to, you know, enlighten her and show her a way, and, you know, develop a good, positive little human, but she'll see that from me chasing my dreams. I don't ever want to, like, for any mum out there, you always find your way. And, you know, when you have that, you'll know yourself. When you have that, your first child, it was like I was consumed by all the information that I didn't know whether I was doing it right or whether I was failing or whether it was, you know, but you just find a way that works for you and works for yourself and works for the baby and your family. So I include her in everything because she is the world, and she's part of the reason that I do it. But a big part of the reason that I do what I do is because I want to do it.
Aww.
Can your daughter box? Are you okay with that? Outside of just like physical fitness, can she compete and go through the amateur system? Would you be okay with that?
I would be stupid, like, discourage her from doing that because of all the things that boxing's give me and all the opportunities that boxing and doors that it's opened. You know, like, I'm a confident person. You know, I work well in a team all by myself. I'm motivated. I'm driven. I work hard. You know, if you'd asked an employer what would you want your employee to do, they'd probably say all them things. And not only that, but I've been given opportunities that I'd never thought I'd even get to, like being a part of the commentary team on Sky. Liverpool's not the most affluent dialect, I don't think, in the UK. And, you know, to have a young black Scouse girl on TV talking about boxing, you know, I didn't think I would be able to do that.
You're the first Black Scots person I've ever spoken to. I just enjoyed just even listening to you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a little bit different from London.
For sure. How old is your daughter?
She's 6, going on 16.
How much? Wow, tell me about it.
That's mine. Mine's 18 months going on 30. So it's fine.
Oh, right.
And mine is almost 19 and wants to be a baby again. So, it's a full circle. How much?
You spend your first part of your life as a woman trying to be older, and then the second part trying to be younger.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What kind of conversations are you having with her, even at this age? Like, look, this is what I do for my job. I am not okay with people hitting you, like on a playground or in a classroom, or other kids, or bullying, or any of those types of things. Have you had to have any of those types of conversations with her yet?
No, not really. We have the conversation about my job, but to be honest, she's like, the only time she's ever really acknowledged or what I did was when I went into her school and did like an assembly with the whole school. And then people was like, "Oh my God, is that your mum? Is that your mum?" Your mum's like, brought me little belts in. And the head teacher brought her to the front. Everyone was like, "That's your mum, that's your mum." And then she was like, "Yeah, that's my mum, that's my mum." But like before that, she's not really interested. Consider I'm just mum. I'm not anything special. I've got a sister who plays for the national soccer team for England.
I know.
And she absolutely adores Nikita. Like, Nikita's her favourite person in the world.
And did she play? Did she play football?
She had a little go. She didn't keep it up, but like every time she goes and watches Nikita, she's like, "Yeah, Mum, I want to go back to football." But when I box, she's just like, sometimes we go to the soft play areas and like them little swinging things. She'll be like, "Mum, look." And she'll hit it, but she's not really interested, if I'm honest. She likes to come in the gym. She thinks she's the boss when she's in the gym. You say to her, "Mila, who's the boss?" She goes, "Joe." And she goes, "Who's the second boss?" And she goes, "Me."
That's so cute. Well, credit to your sister. She did score 2-0 against Austria and getting you guys into the next summer's World Cup. So congratulations. This is like sports royalty right here. Her and her sister. My goodness, because she used to play football also before she boxed.
That's awesome.
I remember that story, and then something happened. I think you had surgery or you tore something. You were in the States, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you just happen to now be a world champion in boxing. So good for you. Well, Natasha, we can't wait to see you, Miss GB, get back in the ring to take some more belts, collect some more belts, and hopefully get on the road to Undisputed to fight Terry Harper. That is going to be an ultimate showdown. Oh, that's interesting. Matchroom against BOXXER. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Just saying. Tell Joe Gallagher we said hello. You guys tune in. Is it on Sky Sports? It's going to be on ESPN Plus then here for us in the States, November 12th. She's fighting against Marie Dicaire, presented by BOXXER, and November 12th in Manchester. So make sure you guys get your tickets. Liverpool will be rooting for you. This is, you know what? We love when the UKs fight each other. This is fun. Can y'all stop playing?
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, it's done and over with. Like, play some Pitbull or some shit or something. I don't know. Do something else.
They play it at the soccer games now, which is even worse.
Which one?
So they play it at the soccer games now. So Sweet Caroline is just like they play it at darts. They play it at soccer.
I hope Neil Diamond's getting some fat checks for this.
No,
big time.
I just never even understand how that song even got synonymous with boxing even to begin with.
I don't know.
Nothing
you guys
about
need to
that
find
song
a different
is about
anthem.
That. For sure.
Like, get Tom Jones.
It's not unusual to be loved by everyone.
Okay. I would dance to that.
You two were a good little duo there.
Oh, we totally do.
We share a brain.
We do share a brain. What are you going to what's your song that you're going to walk out to? Why don't you do like Cuff It or something by Beyonce?
Because she's comfortable.
Something.
Do a mix of Emily Sandé, Extraordinary Being, and Beyonce, Girls Run the World. Because
yeah.
They're my little girls' two favourite songs.
Oh, that's so cute.
Who run the world? We love that.
Yeah, we run the world.
Because we do.
See? All right, Natasha, thank you for joining us. I know you got to get back to bed because it is quite late for you because you are in training camp. Mm-hmm. Best of luck to you and in your world title run. And any last thoughts for you, Jay?
Best of luck to you. Congratulations on achieving championships, doing it in a way not within the weight class you started, but in the weight class you moved up. That's quite a feat, and it's very admirable. Congratulations to you.
I love it. The women are creating their journeys and winning world titles their way.
That's right.
That's what I love.
Listen, we always knew how good we was. We just needed the world to see it.
I love that. Well, you know what? BOXXER got a great gift, and now you get to share your gift with the world. Good luck to you.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasha. She's so sweet. I love interviewing her.
I know. Talented, and just this stage of her career, becoming a champion, and that's awesome. It makes me feel inspired as someone over 40.
Yeah, it's really funny that when she said that when she was signed with Matchroom, she felt undervalued.
We need to bring back a previous guest of ours who's mentioned some similar things
Jamie
too.
Mitchell?
That's correct.
I was like, how did I know that?
Right.
Off the cuff on that one. Yeah, Jamie Mitchell. We even talked about, Ebony and I talked about it, that she has been saying it on Twitter, Jamie, that she needs a fight. Even Ebony said she should have had a mandatory, anything. And that's one of her she's a unified. They have to fight each other. I don't understand what y'all doing over there. Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, that's fascinating because everyone says Earn with Hearn. He's got all the girls over there, but they're all leaving. So there's a disconnect somewhere. And Mr. Hearn, if you'd like to join us here at the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. We would like to know what is happening over at Matchroom, and
we want to know. We
want the tea.
Yeah, tea. We'll spill it. We drink it. We tell it.
Okay,
well, that's it for us today. This was so fun being back home in our original studio.
Sticky Paws.
And Travis is our engineer today.
Hi, everyone.
I know, and we did it again. Reunited, and it feels so good. Ooh, yeah.
Yes. It's been quite a karaoke up in here.
It has been, yeah. So again, I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.